finding people to fill all these slots is not as easy as you might think. Just for the record, our Sergeant at Arms and Parliamentarian were both unable to make it tonight. So if there's no objection, Phil Cady has agreed to serve again as our Sergeant at Arms for tonight, and Peter Allison has agreed to serve as temporary parliamentarian. Most of you, I'm sure, have heard about the 8K complaint and that whole situation, but there's been so much bad information, misinformation that's been circulating around through the rumor mills and on social media that we thought it would be good, and the officials committee thought it would be good if we have one of the members of the officials committee here, Terry Holcomb. He's also the SREC committee man for SD3, which is the northern part of Montgomery County, and he's a member of the officials committee, and so he wanted to come here tonight to give y'all, straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, what's happened with the 8K complaint and where things stand with the whole bylaws issue. So y'all could welcome Terry Holcomb.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee members, I'm going to use my preacher voice. We don't have a microphone. So there has been a lot of information that's been flying around out there. I've been on several chains of emails where people certainly meant well, but all the information certainly wasn't correct. And the action that we took an executive committee. I won't be able to talk about that meeting exactly what we discussed in that meeting, but I can tell you the outcome of it. But I really just wanted to bring the facts to the executive committee, what we saw, what we were interested in, and then the outcome that we came out with. I'd appreciate it if there's any questions. You could let me get to the end of this, and then I'll be glad to take questions. Let me preface this by saying I speak under no authority other than my own. As your SREC rep, I am not speaking on behalf of the Republican Party of Texas. Okay? So the issue within Montgomery County, as everyone is well aware, there was a dispute as to whether or not the 2018 bylaws were properly adopted at your organizational meeting on July the 26th of 2018.
June 26th.
June. I'm going to give you the relevant information and only the relevant references. I'm not going to address any other references that may be out there because they're irrelevant to the discussion. I'll start with the election code. The election code in Title 10, Chapter 163, titled Party Rules. In Section 163.02, the law requires that the party adopt rules. It says a political party that makes nominations in this state shall adopt rules that, very important, number one, prescribe the parliamentary procedure governing the conduct of party meetings and conventions from the precinct level all the way to the state level. The party, let me make sure I say that so you understand it. The Republican Party of Texas prescribes the rules in which every county party operates by law. And the rules established in accordance with that law, RPT Rule number 5, and you can find this on our website, plainly states, unless otherwise provided by these rules being RPT rules. The current edition of Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, which is hereby adopted by reference, shall be the parliamentarian authority governing all conventions and meetings of the Republican Party of Texas from the precinct level through the state level inclusive. An important note there is that unless otherwise provided by these rules. So if the RPT doesn't speak on it, RPT rules do not speak on it, then Robert's Rules would be the governing body. However, the RPT rules do speak specifically to this issue in Rule 8. It specifically lays out the rules for a county executive committee organizational meeting in 8C. I'm going to read the whole rule, forgive me. Organizational meeting of a county executive committee. The county executive committee shall hold its organizational meeting within 45 days after the term of office begins for the county chairman and the precinct chairman. The terms of office begins 20 days after the primary runoff election according to subsection 171.002C of the TEC. The county chairman shall be responsible for calling the meeting. However, if the county chairman does not call the meeting, then 1/4 or 50% of the precinct chairman, whichever is fewer, may by written demand call an organizational meeting. Notice of the organizational meeting and copy of any proposed bylaws and/or rules shall either be mailed via USPS or email and be posted on the county party website if available. Delivery will be to the last known address of the members of the executive committee at least 14 days prior to the date of the meeting. Such notice shall state the time and date and location of the meeting and the names of the persons or person issuing the call. And then here it is. The agenda of the organizational meeting shall include, but not limited to, the swearing in of the newly elected executive committee members and the adoption of bylaws and/or rules for the biennium. That is not confusing. It's very, very clear that we have an organizational meeting every 2 years, and at that organizational meeting, you have to adopt bylaws, and that word adopt is very important, for that biennium, so for that 2-year period. And that is every 2 years, the RPT rules require that. It appeared that this was in dispute within the Montgomery County Republican Party. That's great. We have disputes like this. Rules, that's one of the biggest things that we delve off into at the SREC level, at the state legislature. There's rules fights all the time. Always is. I'll say this just from my personal perspective. I had no problem with this agreement. That's to be expected in politics. But Republican Party of Texas rules clearly require an organizational meeting every 2 years, and that is not in dispute. That piece was never in dispute because you held one. What seemed to be in dispute was the threshold to adopt bylaws. Great pains were taken to try and continuously point to Robert Rules of Order in all of the information that I personally received. Ignoring Texas election law and the RPT rules set forth under those laws that govern us all, both at the state level and at the county level. It was being argued that a 2/3 majority was required to adopt bylaws, when in reality only a simple majority is required at organizational meetings.
I'm sorry, Terry, I've got to object.
The issue, point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to maintain until I'm finished if I could.
Well, I'd like you to read.
Please, let's wait until Mr. Holcomb's finished.
I
and I'll wait until
understand
you're ready
that
to
he's
take it.
misleading this crowd. If you read paragraph 5 of Nikki's letter.
Mr. Preda, you're more than welcome to bring that
That's
up.
exactly how you treated Dr. Wall.
Mr. Preda, you're more than welcome to bring that up when Mr. Holcomb is finished.
No, I don't want him to go any further because he is misleading, just like you have misled this group about the majority rule.
Mr. Preda, I believe the members are capable of remembering what he says until the end.
And they're
You can
also
bring it up.
capable of how you treated Dr. Wilkerson. By your constant objections, you're standing there.
Mr. Preda, please have a seat.
The crowd and the objections, stand up and do your cheerleader thing.
Mr. Preda,
Just read the 5th paragraph.
Mr. Preda, have a seat. Have a seat. Thank you.
Thank you. The issue. Within Montgomery County Republican Party, there was a dispute as to whether or not the 2018 bylaws were properly adopted at your organizational meeting on June 26th. And I already read that. I'll keep this aside for the question here in just a minute. So, this came to the officials committee, and we had all of the relevant information, and we actually had more information than we wanted. I'll be very honest with the executive committee. We did not look at most of the information or consider most of the information that was sent to us in 8K. We were very focused on some specific things that I will share with you. We were interested in the bylaws that were adopted on June the 26th. And apparently I'm missing a page. Oh, there it is. There we go. All right. It was also being communicated that the local party was not under the RPT or its rules. To infer that the local party is not answerable to the state party or its rules is patently false. It cannot operate outside of the state party's authority and or rules according to the law. If that is the desire that this body wants to do, I would certainly recommend that you create your own third party under the law or create your own nonprofit organization. As it states in you must, as it states in Rule 8, be in compliance with the RPT rules if you are a local county Republican party. Furthermore, the chair made a clarification on 2 occasions that I'm aware of on this rule and or issue, and the clarification was unanimously confirmed by the SREC on September the 22nd, that each county executive committee's organizational meeting bylaws are adopted every 2 years. By definition, adoption requires only a majority vote of the executive committee.
Mr. Prentice, you're not recognized.
That was not the language at the SREC meeting. At least tell the truth.
Mr. Holcomb has the floor. You're more than welcome
to
make comments and ask questions when he's finished.
But I object to him not quoting the exact language that was voted on.
Mr. Prentice, please have a seat. Mr. Holcomb has the floor.
Did you have a seat?
Motion to throw Mr. Pareda out the room so we can continue, please.
Thank you.
Let me just say this. I understand Mr. Paredes' passion. I love him. I truly do love him. I've got no problem with his passion and his loyalty to Dr. Walton. I appreciate it. Okay? All right. I don't take this personally. I get right where Charlie's at. I love him for it. Okay. By definition, adoption requires only a majority of the executive committee, as correctly ruled by Chairman Wilkerson at the June 26th organizational meeting. This is the same process used by every other Texas County Republican Party and by the Montgomery County Republican Party for 54 plus years. In summary, the RPT rules supersede Robert's rules per the RPT rules set forth and adopted at convention. That is the start and end of the debate for me. It starts with the rules and it ends with the rules. Everything else that's going on in the middle with y'all guys, that's for y'all to work out. Okay? Referencing Robert's rules outside of the reality of the Republican Party rules is moot and irrelevant. Both the current and prior Montgomery County Republican Party bylaws are required by state law and by state Republican Party rules to be in compliance with RPT rules. So now we're going to move to the Officials Committee. At the first meeting of the Officials Committee made it crystal clear that they only had 2 interests in the entire 8K complaint, which I believe was 30 or 40 pages. 30. We only had 2 things in that thing that we wanted to address. That the bylaws properly adopted by the Montgomery County GOP on June 26, 2018 be recognized as currently enforced, and that the requirements of the Texas election code be complied with. Those were the only two things the officials committee considered. In an effort to avoid any further public dispute, the RPT officials committee, at my motion, gave Dr. Wally a total of 9 days from September the 22nd to agree that the June 26 bylaws were properly adopted and to adhere to them and follow them. And Dr. Wally refused to do so. And therefore the officials committee unanimously found Dr. Wally to be behaving in such a way to disgrace the Republican Party and to be failing to perform his statutory duties. The Republican Party of Texas put forth that all members of the Montgomery County Republican Executive Committee abide by the bylaws adopted on June 26, 2018 for the purpose of TEC and FEC campaign finance filing as appropriate, and on all necessary bank accounts acknowledge that John Wirtz is the treasurer per the election held on June the 26th, and all other election results from the June 26, 2018 meeting be recognized. That is what the chair put out at the direction of the officials committee. Before I take questions, I will say this from a personal note. I did everything that I could to avoid getting to the place that we are. For those that were on the call, you heard me plead. So let's just move forward. I got no problem if there was a disagreement, but the disagreement had been decided by the state party at the end of the day. And unfortunately, that's not what happened. And so here's where we are today. It is my hope that with good information being out there that we can all come back together. I can always agree, and sometimes we're going to have big fights. But we certainly can still come together for the greater cause, because the cause that we fight is greater than any individual that will ever sit in any of these chairs or stand before you. Because that fight is for righteousness. And in serving our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Mr. Chairman, I'll take questions.
Mr. Pareto.
First of all, Terry, thank you for coming. I know it's not an easy trip, as we've been to your county numerous times. Do you have Chairman Dickey's letter with you to Dr. Wilson? Okay. Would you please read paragraph 5 in its entirety?
Do you have it? You can read it.
Okay. As you previously stated, RPT Rule 5 specifies Robert's rules are the parliamentary authority. Quote, unless otherwise provided for, ... these rules, close quote, RPT requires an organizational meeting and adoption of bylaws, comma. So any Robert's Rules position on this matter is irrelevant. You forgot to mention it.
I didn't read his letter, but I didn't forget to mention anything. That's okay. Is there a question?
Yes. So Robert's Rules did not apply in this matter, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Other than the definition of adoption.
Well, I don't think there's any question about adoption.
Okay.
Because you either, when you have your organizational meeting, which everybody agrees to the definition of, you adopt bylaws, and you can either keep them, amend them, change them.
So with all due respect, Brother Charlie, I'm not here to debate. The decision's been rendered and is made and is done.
No. I just want everybody to acknowledge that Chairman Dickey, in his letter, said that Robert's Rules were irrelevant to this matter.
I'm saying.
And so therefore, the simple majority rule does not apply. Because that's a
The state party disagrees with me.
There's the man that sold it to everybody, Robert's Rules.
Just so I'm clear, Charlie, nobody sold me anything.
No, I'm talking to Reagan Reed there. He sold this whole group that was Robert's
Do
Rules.
you have a question for me, Charlie?
Yeah. Do you acknowledge that statement's in Dickey's letter?
If you say it is, I certainly
Okay.
believe you.
Number 2, you stated that there was only two interests, and you mentioned of the bylaw and the Texas Election Code 171.024 be complied with, correct? What happened to all the other complaints? What's the status?
They weren't taken up by the committee.
So they're dismissed.
There was nothing to take. We did not take that up.
So, okay, so what's the status?
It's dead.
Okay, so essentially dismissed. Kind of like if the court doesn't take something up, it's dismissed. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Now, in the letter from Chairman Dickey, it says required statutory duty under Texas Election Code Section 171.024. And in here it stated that he did not send the precinct chairs to the Secretary of State. Believe it or not, that's not in the Texas Election Code to send them to the Secretary of State. So I don't know. Did y'all draft this for him?
No, the election code requires that we set forth that be done, and that is in our rules.
Not to the Secretary of State. It's to the chairman of the RPT.
And the SRC.
It's to the chairman of the party, and it's to the county clerk. And in Montgomery County, the county clerk, we have an election administrator, so it goes to them. So I'm not quite sure who authorized this to go out, but it didn't comply with what you're asking them to do. The final question.
As I understand, since our meeting, that's been rectified.
Okay.
Just for your information, I believe Melinda rectified.
Okay, I'm not seeing it. And the final thing was, did y'all demand the following items of Chairman Dickey, or did you request the following items?
It was an order. It was an order.
Therefore, the Republican Party of Texas requests. How come it wasn't demand or you will or shall?
Are you talking about our letter to Dr. Wallen? That's called respect, Brother Charlie. That's what that's called.
Oh.
It's called professional respect.
Okay, really? To request something, not to demand it?
That is a normal term.
Well, you can probably ask the lawyers in the room. No, that's a request. A demand is a demand letter.
Brother Charlie, he will take that as he sees fit at his own risk.
Do you acknowledge that the RPT Officials Committee has no jurisdiction over the county chair? And that's why it was a request?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Then it should have been a demand versus a request. All right. Thank you for being here.
All right, thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you for the conclusion. Do you use any of the videos as far as the June 26th meeting to see that the rules were
No, so that what was adopted was never in dispute. The fact that meetings were adopted was never in dispute. Everybody agreed that that happened. Yes.
What I would like to see is why can't somebody that's always supported Dr. Ward explain why he can't just accept the bylaws and preside over them, just without having a lot of problems. We have to wait, especially with the election. It's very important to me.
I appreciate that, sir, but that is not what I'm here for.
I would just like somebody to explain that.
I'll explain.
I'm not, that would be out of order for me, so.
The chair?
Mr. Holcomb is here to answer specific questions relating to the rules and the AK decision, so if he wants to answer a question, I'll leave that up to him.
Okay. Yes, sir.
As a point of personal privilege,
Yes.
what
You're
are
not
the
gonna
next
yell
steps?
at me, are you?
If any, oh, no, sorry, listen. What are the next steps, if any, to be done by the SREC or the officials committee?
So I'm going to have to speak from my personal position. My next step is to get through Christmas and try and win some elections and try and enjoy Thanksgiving with my family after the elections, try and work all the committees that I'm working on the SREC and get ready for session, and try and hope that y'all mend and heal between now and January the 1st. And that's not a hard date by anybody. This is me saying this group needs some time to heal at the end of the day. There's been a lot of hurt. There's been a lot of broken relationships, and I don't expect that I'm going to be able to come in here and fix it in one meeting either. I'm going to have to pray for at least 30 days for you guys. My intent is to focus on the work until after January and hope that this group will come together and let's just agree to disagree. And it was a good fight. It's hard fought by all sides, but it's over. That's my hope. After that, I can't say that. Thank you.
Just a point of clarification. You said that Robert's rules did not apply here, but under Rule 5, where it says where the RPT rules are silent, Robert's rules is used. That's why the majority thing comes in. I just wanted to clarify that for Mr. Pareda, who I'm sure heard it.
Here's what I would caution against, guys, because y'all could debate this.
No,
For the next 50 years, the RPT, the Republican Party in Texas, has said it and it's done.
Thank you.
We'd like to be out of here before midnight.
Thank you for your time, sir.
I got to eat dinner. Any other questions?
Thank you, Terry.
Thank y'all, guys.
Okay, hopefully that was helpful. And again, we definitely appreciate Mr. Holcomb coming down here from San Jacinto County. All right, next on the agenda we have SREC reports. Do we have any SREC members who would like to address the body at this time about their work? Mrs. Predick, go ahead.
I just have a short thing. SD3 is doing really well. All 19 counties we've been in contact. Jerry and I have been in contact with them, and they're all ready for the election, ready to go, and just very enthused about this electing Republicans as usual. Everything seems to be going very well in the other counties, as well as here, of course, but as far as turning out the vote, and I think we're going to have a very good time with that. It's an honor to serve on the SREC, and thank you for electing me, and I look forward to serving until 2020. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Allison Winter, SREC SP4, and I wanted to tell you all that the audit was completed, the special audit that our RPD had, and that the only discrepancy they found was that $1.20 that I mentioned last time. So that is good news, and it was in our favor also. The other thing that's currently being considered by the officials committee, they're discussing and analyzing right now, you may have heard, is they're considering compensation for the chairman of RPT. There's been, I've heard people making comments, some are against it, some are for it, but I think we all need to hear all the reasoning behind it and give that consideration before we come to a decision. So I'd like for y'all to be gathering up information over the next month, and after the election, they're going to have another officials committee teleconference, and anybody can join that, and I'll be happy to email all the receipts here so you have the phone number and access code, and you can listen in on that conversation so you can gain more information. But the thought behind this is that the RBT chair is a full-time job and it's full-time focus. We are a very big state, and in the past it's kind of been restricted mostly to people who were independently wealthy or had some passive income and where they were able to put their job aside in order to serve as the chairman of the Republican Party of Texas. We are one of the largest targets for the Democrats in nationally. They are attacking Texas. They want Texas very bad. And so we need to put up a full-force fight against that. We're heading into our presidential re-election year, and this is, we're hoping to increase the goal of winning with a large margin in that presidential election. There is a progressive onslaught on the left upon our Republican candidates. The last two chair races have had a total of 3 candidates, and that's not very many. We would like to see more candidates come forward that maybe are not, can't leave their jobs on the side. We like for them to be able to afford to serve as a Republican Party chair in Texas, because there are a lot of good grassroots people out there that can do that job. But the last 2 chairs of Republican Party of Texas have left mid-term, in the middle of their terms. And this is not good for our Republican Party of Texas. We need continuity, we need mid-terms. The turnover is not healthy, and it would be best to avoid that. The chairman needs undivided attention in order to focus on this. It's a very difficult job. You just think about all the work we do individually, and then you have someone who's leading the Republican Party of Texas. It's a huge job, and there's a lot of travel involved too across the state. In the past, we've used professional fundraisers And if we did without these professional fundraisers, that would be $100,000 right there saved. Another big victory we just had, you probably heard, in SD 19, Pete Flores was just elected as the first Republican in 139 years from that city, District 19. And he also is the first Hispanic to be elected to the Texas Senate. Additionally, he gave us a super majority. And I know that Chairman Dickey was very involved in that, and it was a statewide effort. And I know that he was there helping with that a lot. And so there's a lot of things that the chairman and other Republican Party of Texas do. Fundraising is higher than the previous, I don't want to misquote this, I think it's 6 years. Is that correct? Okay. In the big accounts, we alone have 263 million.
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
have that number.
No, that's right. Wait, I know what I'm saying. 1,263,000. Sorry, I said that wrong. And then unrestricted cash on hand, we have 933,000 right now, which is the highest it's been in years. RPT currently has 5 months average cash available. The executive director currently that serves under the chairman makes $130,000, and the officials committee is recommending that the RPT chair be paid $150,000 a year. The officials committee, let's see, they want to set it up where they will reevaluate every 6 months. In the first, starting in July 1st, they will reevaluate as far as the fundraising efforts and the performance. And they will either increase, decrease, or whatever. And it will be every 6 months, and then in January thereafter, January and July 1st. This is not a contingent issue, from my understanding, because, for instance, when we talk about salary employees for Montgomery County Republican Party, we don't take that to us before convention and vote on it. We decide within our executive body. And this is the same thing, it should be decided among the SRAC. It's been considered before, and it's been postponed. And the decision has never been made to have chairman compensation. The party deserves less turnover and more candidates. And other states are doing this. We have confirmed 11, I believe. Arkansas, California, Colorado, Florida, Michigan, Ohio, Oklahoma, New York, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Washington. All of these states pay a salary, except for one is under a contract basis. This is not a part-time volunteer job, and the past chairman as well as the current chairman and future chairman deserve to be compensated for the work that they do and for their performance. I appreciate y'all listening, because I know that people are on both sides, and I think that we ought to all be open-minded and consider all this. And this will be decided, I believe, at the December meeting, December 1st. So I'd like to all gather information and then let Walter or myself or Judy or Terry know your feelings about that. So thank you so much. And
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to keep the report just to my officials committee capacity right now, because we're been here a while already, and I'll have plenty to say on legislative priorities later. So I basically picked up this as a big project of mine, and I'm basically going to be starting to work on really hard around the chairman's compensation discussion. And here's what we as a party have to decide. One of the things that I noticed right away when it came up is you had a certain group on one side running their corners and dig in, you had a certain group on the other side, and it was personal and nobody was talking about the merits of the issue. So as a party, we're going to have to decide something very, very important. Are we going to keep the status quo? And if you think that's a good thing, you need to look no farther than Cruz Beta. Because the Democrats are pouring tons of money into this state. And Beto has been on Saturday Night Live, and he has been on whatever day shows, and it's been an all-out blitz. We today cannot compete with that. Beto should not be within 10, 12 points of Cruz, and that is an indicator of what's coming. And we have to decide as a party. Not everybody likes the chairman. This isn't about the individual. This is about what we want the party to do. And we're either going to decide to play small ball, which is what we do now, or we're going to decide to go and become a powerhouse and get in the big leagues. And we're going to get a CEO to take us to a level that this state has never seen before in the Republican Party. That's what the SREC is going to decide, so I'm clear. I will be part of putting a compensation package together in the budget. I'm pretty confident we've got the votes to get it out of the officials committee to the full SREC. The full SREC will then vote on what our future is going to be. Is it going to be status quo? Or are we saying we've got to make a change because we've got a hurricane? And we're already feeling the winds up. And folks, look, if we think that we can just keep doing what we've been doing, and by the way, James Dickey has done phenomenal in fundraising as a part-time volunteer. And not only that, he's brought the grassroots voice into a level of the legislature that we've never before enjoyed. We have relationships now with the governor. We have chairmen of committees coming and talking to us. He has taken this to a different place as a part-time volunteer. We need a CEO like that to take our party where it needs to be to hold the winds of the Democrats, because it's not going to stop. And it's not Texas Democrats that are coming after us. It's Soros and his 10 billionaires that just have endless amounts of money just to keep pounding us. And if we stay where we're at today, we're going to suffer consequences. And if we ever lose it, I only know one way we'll get it back. So the good thing about it is we get to decide. The body gets to decide. I do want to reiterate something that Allison said. I keep hearing the convention needs to decide this. There's not a mechanism for the convention to decide it. Do you know a single budget item that the convention decides? There isn't one. A single salary? There isn't one. There's not a mechanism for it. The SREC adopts bylaws after the election. So your executive committee of the state is elected to do this stuff. The convention didn't decide that our executive director was going to get $130,000, right? Your executive committee decided. And so this isn't going to go to convention. Well, it will in theory, because if we do go ahead and institute a salary, we will hear from the grassroots one way or the other at the next convention. I promise you, y'all are diligent like that. And then the grassroots can decide at convention if that's the direction they think we need to go, or if they want to pull it back. And the great thing about it is we get to decide. So thank y'all.
Will you take questions?
What?
Just in reference, how much are y'all, is the company considering paying the car chairman?
Okay, so currently it's at $150,000 plus insurance and medical benefits. That number was derived literally just by the simple fact that the executive director makes $130,000. At any CEO company, that's what you would expect to see as a slight increase from 1 to 2. We're talking about the numbers. There's nothing set in stone by any stretch of the imagination. I've asked for a meeting. We're supposed to have 3 meetings on the officials committee. I asked for a 4th meeting just to talk about the chairman's compensation package, because I want all of you to be able to hear this fully, to have this fully vetted, to have complete transparency, and really hash out the vision that I think this officials committee is going to try and put forward for the party that the SREC will either say, yes, we think that's the right vision, or they will say, no, it's not. So that's what we're currently.
The officials committee would consider lowering that by $10,000?
Oh, certainly.
Just because.
It's funny that you said that. On the way over here, I was talking to a friend of mine who is on the officials committee, Jason Ross, and I said, I'm not giving him $150 because that's the first bid out the door. And we Republicans, we don't take the first bid out the door ever, right? So it's funny you said that.
Well, I was just, Governor
I'm gonna take your word for that. I haven't loved it.
I figured you'd be honest.
Makes a lot more than that, I assure you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Where's the money coming from?
The same place all of our money basically comes from donors. And I don't know how many of y'all are aware of this, and I think it was communicated in the last, we had our largest single donation a week or so ago of $150,000 from one donor. Dickie is doing phenomenal work. I can't imagine what a CEO of his caliber will do if he's able to dedicate this. And before the next question gets asked, it is the official's expectation that if we're paying you to be a CEO, that is what you do. If we're paying you to be full-time, we are going to expect you to dedicate the hours and the time and the effort into being a full-time. And we would expect to see those results, and we will be looking at that. If we're able to get this through, we would be looking at those metrics. Let me just say this and I'll take your question. Risk versus reward. How many businessmen do we have in here? Businesswomen. Don't you do that? You do a risk versus reward assessment. What is the biggest risk we have here? And he just got a $150,000 donor. Worst case scenario, this didn't work out, and I don't still think we're going to lose $150,000 because quite frankly, he's already earned that. Okay? Honestly, he's already earned it. So I think we're way ahead of the game here. And it doesn't work out and we pull it back. That's the biggest risk. What's the reward? We become something that Democrats fear. That's the greatest reward is our posterity, protecting them from the onslaught that is coming. I, for one, am staking my political future on it. I don't know how many of y'all really know that. This is going to be an issue at convention one way or the other, and people are going to be coming after those of us that are supporting this. So I'm putting my political, and that's okay. I'm willing to throw myself in front of the bus for my posterity. I'm very okay with that. Question?
Not sure if you know this offhand, but I noticed a significant increase in the amount of grassroots club members.
Yes.
Since the appointment of Dick, you know how, roughly how many or percent?
I don't have those numbers on me. Aren't you on the CEC? No. But it's significant. Yeah, the grassroots club membership has skyrocketed, and that's because, and one of the things that I was talking to somebody about today is, not only do we need to think about the fundraising and growing the party and becoming that machine, we need to be thinking about the heartbeat of the party. We need to be thinking about that heartbeat of the party. And where do we want to take that? Because if we're not careful, that heartbeat will stop beating. And the passion will be gone from the people. And we will, at that point, lose it all. So we've got to care for that heartbeat. Yes, sir.
Terry, would you take 30 seconds for the new people to tell them what the grassroots club is?
I certainly will, because if you're not a member of the Grassroots Club, Judy's right here. I'm sure she can help you today. I'm giving it to you. The Grassroots Club is a way that you can donate to the party to show that you approve of the great work that Judy's doing and Allison's doing and Chairman Dickey's doing. I'm doing okay. And if you do approve, this is the greatest way to show your approval. And there's different levels of membership that you can join. It starts as low as $8.25 a month. $8.25. And it goes up to like a $300 membership, and then you get perks and you get special stuff at convention. But most of all, you get the joy of being a part of something that I believe is the greatest thing in this country, and that's the Texas Technical Party. Thank you, brother. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, and I don't believe Mr. West is here, so let's move to the treasurer's report. Mr. Works.
Mr. Vice Chair, in Article 4, under officers, in Section 5, officer duties, Part D lists the treasurer, and it says the treasurer shall be responsible for keeping necessary and appropriate financial records with the executive committee for complying with all applicable state and federal laws and statutes with regards to reporting contributions and expenditures, and shall prepare periodic reports of the financial condition and presentation to the executive committee as requested by the steering committee. It's a little bit limited in scope as it pertains to the conduct with any bank or financial institution or government agency. So I'm asking the CAC to approve a resolution that Secretary Bingham is going to bring here in a second with respect to authorization to conduct business with any bank, financial institution, or government agency.
Be it resolved that the Montgomery County Republican Party of Texas Executive Vice Chair Reagan Reed and Treasurer John Works are hereby authorized to conduct business with any bank, financial institution, and/or government agency they select on behalf of and pursuant to their authority as the duly elected officers of the Montgomery County Republican Party Executive Committee. Each shall have the authority individually to open and close accounts, be designated as a signatory on any accounts, and conduct any other business with the financial institution that is necessary to manage the income, expenses, and finances of the Montgomery County Republican Party of Texas, and to report the conditions of any such accounts to the Montgomery County Republican Party Executive Committee and Steering Committee when placed on the agenda of any called meeting of the organization. Such authority includes the right to obtain bank statements, write or deposit checks, obtain and use passwords and identification names for secure online access, conduct wire transfers, execute certificates of deposit, savings accounts, and any other matters authorized by the Montgomery County Republican Party Executive Committee on this day, Tuesday, October 16, 2018. The resolution.
All right, do we have a motion?
I have a motion to accept.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, discussion. Mr. Cady.
Is it because we don't have any access to banks right now to take care of business?
That is correct.
Because we have not been given authority to the banks?
That is correct.
We've been given authority but not access.
The officials committee in the 8K ruling explicitly said that Mr. Wertz needed to run the accounts. So far, Dr. Wilkerson has not complied, so in order to conduct business, we need to have an account. This is the recognized account for the party. Mr. Robbins.
Is there a provision or do you have a provision that should either he become incapacitated, unwilling, unavailable, that same authority would transfer to another person?
I don't think there's a provision for that in there. In the case, like if we get in a car accident at the same time or whatever, then y'all would elect replacements for us, and then you could pass a similar deal that would have happened.
It does say, in the second paragraph, it says each shall have the authority individually. It would only be in the case that something happened.
Mr. Freitas.
Parliamentary inquiry. Can this body pass a resolution that is against the Texas election code? Because the Texas election code gives total authority to the chairman and the chairman only for the bank accounts.
Mr. Freitas, could you please cite that?
Yeah, Texas election code.
Where? Which one?
Well, you have the parliamentarian right there.
One thing, Fred?
Parliamentarians looking into that.
I make a suggestion.
Mr. Kirby, you recognize.
Instead of him having to go through all the code, we could, if you want to bring this up later, maybe you could find it and bring it to our school. So I think in the interest of time, we should go ahead and proceed.
One privilege?
Yes, sir.
I believe that applies only to the primary fund.
That's my understanding as well.
So only the primary fund, not other party, or the third party funds.
That's specified.
Primary corporate fund is what he's responsible for.
Correct.
Not any other accounts. It's only the primary fund and I believe the corporate fund that he has responsibility for, not any other bank accounts within the organization.
Point of information.
Yes, sir, Mr. Ellison.
That's a question that should be directed to the general counsel as it deals with state law, Robert's rules of order.
Does our general counsel have anything to say about this?
Yeah, exactly what the treasurer had just said, that the exclusive management and control for the corporate fund and for the primary funds, which are given to run the primary and operate it, pay the judge, clerk, and all that, that's exclusive to the county, elected county chair every 2 years. And he's in charge of those funds, he's responsible for those funds. However, what we're talking about with what the treasurer would handle for the organization is the organization's funds to run the organization. So that is not under the exclusive jurisdiction, I guess we would put it, of the elected county chair. That's under the auspices and authority of the bylaws, whatever the organization says in the bylaws. That's my understanding of what this resolution is to accomplish.
Mr. Gavolas.
Call the question.
All right, wait, do we have any other discussion on this? Okay. Those in favor of the resolution, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Aye. All right, motion passes. Mr. Wertz, anything else in the treasurer's report? All right, thank you, Mr. Wertz. Committee reports. Are there any committees besides the vacancy committee, any committee chairs that want to need to give a report tonight? Mr. Gavolas, Precinct Chair Support Committee.
With the Precinct Chair Support Committee, and I especially want to address this to our new precinct chairs. This committee exists to give you support. So any of the training you think you might need, any way that we can be of help. And if you'll see me afterwards, I've got my card, so you'll be able to access the committee and get whatever kind of help that you might need. This is new to some of you, and some of you have a lot of experience. Like, well, he taught me a lot. So that's our job. Don't hesitate to ask for help.
Thank you, Mrs. Lewis.
Lewis, Chair of PR and Marketing Committee. We got out our first newsletter for September last month. If you did not see it, you can sign up on the newsletter list on the website at mcgop.online. Sign up for the newsletter list there. We will be sending out our next newsletter by the end of this month. We're planning on doing it monthly. We are including sections for precinct news, so any precinct chair that has any news to include can submit an article to include. We're also including committee news, so if any of the committee chairs want to include anything about what you're doing, election-wise, block blocking, anything like that, feel free to submit that article to me as well. I will be sending out emails to everyone with the deadlines for everything, so you will get an email from me with that information as well. Our next meeting is next Thursday, 7 p.m. at Mackenzie's Barbecue. We will be discussing the newsletter logo that's being created. We're having a logo contest for submissions for that. We had a newsletter naming contest, which we got a lot of great submissions for, which we'll be deciding on next week as well. And we'll be doing additional enhancements to the website and all sorts of stuff like that. So that's about it.
All right, thank you.
Is your meeting this Thursday or the
Next Thursday, the 25th.
Okay, any other? All right, 2018 Victory Committee, Dale Inman.
Thank you very much.
They have done such an incredible job. Give him a hand.
I don't know about that. You've got a good team. I would just like to start out, we're a community, and I think committeeman, my brother in Christ, Terry Holcomb, kind of said some things, and I'd also like today, I know some of you saw me on Facebook, that Sherry Shorten, I told you, I apologize. We live in a community, and I care about you. I mentioned that today, I want to say that publicly. Jessica, to you, if I caused any harm, I apologize. I mean that. Okay, I need to say that publicly. Now we can move forward with the Victory Committee stuff. These are some t-shirts. We've got a lot going on. We're 21 days away. We've got some nonpartisan races that we were pretty active in. We're going to get more active, Brian Boniface, and some other races as well. You heard Terry Holcomb a moment ago, and I've got some people that are sneaking around the Democratic quarters. And it is very widely popular said that if they win Texas, we never win again. With our electoral votes, if they win Texas, we never win again. It is critical. That's why you hear Soros and all these monies being poured into Texas saying, we only have to win one state and we win the nation. We're in. I have said for several months now, if Texas falls, our union falls. There's going to be things happening. I'll tell you right now, I won't stand for it. And I don't want to go any farther down that road. So this victory stuff's critical to me. And when I hear people arguing about we can't pay James Dickey, you're exactly right. As soon as I heard that, I've said for a long time we need to pay a chair. There's a CEO, this professional, brings professional to that job, can do it full time. He is doing it full time, and you've seen our money skyrocket. And I hear Democrats and liberals screaming, don't pay, don't pay, don't pay. That's who's screaming, don't pay. Because the ones that don't want to pay them are saying if Texas does that and turns the Texas machine into a full-time professional business, our plans for the last 6, 7, 8 years are gone. That's what they've been targeting, the blue wave in Texas. So that's kind of what's going on behind the scenes. Now, as our victory campaign, we've got some wonderful t-shirts. Keep Texas red.
Keep it red.
And keep it red. Yeah, keep it red.
That's on the shirt. Not to keep Texas red. Keep it red.
Keep it red. Okay, thank you, Adrian. Keep it red is 256. I hate when people do that. Inside ball there. But we've got some flyers. You've seen a lot of flyers coming out. And let's just, I think, well, there's an elephant in the room, and let's address it. There's 2 victory committees. I'm going to encourage everyone who's pulling for Republican candidates, do everything you can with 21 days left. If you see someone across the street, encourage them. Even if they're not with what we're doing, if they're pushing for Republicans, encourage, pat them on the back, go have a coffee with them afterwards, or now we can have coffee, it's cold enough. We have to get past that we're the enemy in this room. Everyone here, I think, is pulling for the same slate of candidates, or awfully close. 99% of what we're pushing for, we all agree on, is just these little edges, and those 1 or 2 principles or points have separated us into almost being dysfunctional. So with 21 days left, I'm going to encourage everyone to say, I'm Dale Linden, I'm a Republican, but I thought that sounded too AA. I didn't want to say that. But then I said, maybe I will say it, because we're Republicans. I fight for these principles. I have argued with certain leadership in Montgomery County for the last 15 years. I'm not a Republican for the brand, I'm a Republican for the principles in that platform. You can change whatever name you want on it, but I'm for those principles. And that's part of this dysfunction we have today. It didn't happen June 26th. It's been going on a long time. But at 21 days away, we've got to lay all that down and push for victory 2018. Keep it red. They're everywhere. And by them, I mean blue. Blue is everywhere. So I'm just encouraging you guys to push hard. We've got a lot of exciting things coming out. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. We've got some things. Almost a 50,000-piece mailer coming out that I think there's going to be some nonpartisan stuff on it. As a PAC, we can do some nonpartisan stuff. So we're legally watching what we're doing, but we're getting into some other areas. Is my time up? Is that a red card? Who's got the red card? Allison?
We gave you a blank check. You can go as long as you want.
Well, anyway, I want to be quick, so I'll take some questions. There are any questions, but there's a lot of exciting things happening. I'm sorry, I saw Mr. Madden.
What's happening Thursday?
Yes.
Thursday, we got a big event this Thursday. And then we have the address. It's the East Side Room on Lake Woodlands.
East Shore Club.
East Shore Club Room. You can put that in your GPS, your phones, and it'll pull it up. And that's at
6.
5 to 7.
5:30 to 7.
5:30 to 7, there's going to be a food truck there, there's going to be a lot of party atmosphere, everyone's welcome. If you see a Democrat, let somebody know. They're not welcome, I'll be honest. There's going to be some talking there, there's going to be some stuff going on. And we have, Jay Siddleberg called me the other day, hey Dale, blah, blah, we got to talk to that. That's great, November 7th. I'll be happy to have a cup of coffee with you on November 7th, not before, because I'm focused on some other things. Allison?
So should the candidates bring anything to this?
I would encourage the candidates, yeah, we're talking about having some bunch of tables there, the candidates can bring your push cards, bring your signs. I can't stress enough, Kelly Cook's been a godsend, but I can't stress enough, if you're a conservative running in a partisan race or nonpartisan, we are here to support you as a party. We need to turn into a machine, because I'll tell you, and again, my infiltrators in Democratic circles have said this is a warm-up, this 2018. They're building their machine, and they're hoping to win, no question. But they're really looking at 2020. And they're building a machine, and we've got to have that same attitude in this room. Hey, we may agree on 75, 70, 65%, but if you're going to vote R in the general, you're my friend. I'm just to that level. Because I've got kids and hopefully grandkids coming someday. I was born in Chicago. Guess why I left? Democrats. Yeah, we left. My dad said, we're moving where I can be free, and I don't want to live in Chicago. So we left. I tell a lot of people, a lot of Democrats, and you follow me on Facebook, you see this, say, if you love Democratic ideology, move to Oakland or Ferguson or Baltimore or San Francisco or New Orleans or Detroit, Chicago. They have it there. They have their utopia. Unfettered Democrat principles run those cities. Move! That's what I did. I moved to a Republican community. Guess what? They don't want to move. I talked to a bunch of them in the woodlands. I say, why do you come here? Well, we didn't have jobs. Where we left was high taxes, a bad crime, and no jobs.
Utopia.
Yeah.
For those that want to put it in their GPS, the address for that is 2662 North Bay Place.
2662, just reverse. 2662 North Bay Place. I believe is what Paul said. So, really tonight, yeah, Kelly,
Yeah, I have one question. Is it true that our volunteers have handed out 12,000 of these?
Yes.
And do we have more coming?
We pushed for an initial batch of those, I think about 14 or something like that, 12. We're scraping them out of the barrel. So there's probably 11.5 been sent out or something of that nature. Up and down streets, block walking, a lot of precincts going out. And we're getting a very good response of those. I think today we ordered 2,000 more of that one.
Yes.
And we've got another one coming out that's going to be even better than that one. Is it a full-size piece of paper, 8.5 by 11, 50,000 mailer?
And Senator Nichols will be added. He sent us a picture, so he's going to be added to the push card.
Yeah, I want to address that also. Some people asked about that. We looked at the time, we could not find it, Senator Nichols. We had to make a decision. We were scrambling for getting this together. And we said any Republican that has a Democrat challenger. Senator Nichols, we missed it. I've called his office, we apologize. Angus Lumpton and I, his first-hand, right-hand man, I've been friends with him for 15 years. We're good friends. I called him, here's what's going on. Give me a picture. Yes, I get one off the internet. We've asked the candidates, we want one that you send us that's not copyrighted. Yes, you get one off the internet, but I said, there are people that if we get a picture, they might throw an exodus complaint with, well, you didn't get it, that's a copyrighted picture. And I just said, we got to be so careful. Do everything by the book. So I asked Lillian Hancock 3 or 4 times, send me a picture, send me a picture, send me a picture. We never got a picture. It finally came, we're running it. We can't wait anymore. She has sent me a picture, and as soon as we got the picture, that day I said, you will be on the next one we put out. And it's already been changed. The next one we're coming out, I think he's already on it.
Yeah.
This new 2,000 order, he's on it. So I just want to put that down. That's been a burr under some people's saddle. It's solved. A lot of it was we asked some people for information. People didn't want to help us with what we were doing. We did the best we could with what we had.
That was not Louise that didn't want to help you with that.
I'm not saying she didn't want to help me, but I did have the email.
She wasn't asked for it before.
Okay, I'll show you the email that I sent. I sent an email because I knew it would come up with, you didn't ask.
I know, but let's not.
I won't either.
It was,
okay.
I don't like that.
Everyone again, I apologize. I was not throwing Louis Hancock under the bus.
Thank you.
I was saying we asked. We didn't get it. I don't know how else to put it, Ms. Brady.
Okay.
We asked. As soon as we got it, I think the day, within 24 hours of me getting it, I said, he'll be on the next, he'll be on the
How
next
long
one.
did it take you to get it off the internet? 30 seconds?
The copyrighted one?
Uncopyrighted.
I don't know which one's uncopyrighted. I said, do you want us to use one or do you send one? She said, I wanted me to send you one. I'll have someone from my office send you one. That was right in her mouth, right to my ear. I sent an email to follow up with her. So I'm getting one. I'll show you the emails. I'll be happy to do it. I make sure that everything I've done is by the book.
The point is
Sorry,
that
I was on the phone call. I was on the phone call.
So the good news is he's on
the
there now.
point is that Senator Nichols is on the push cart
Yeah,
now
he's
and
on.
is going forward.
Let's not look out the rearview mirror, let's look at the windshield. I drive out the windshield 95% of my time. I occasionally look at the rearview mirror, I don't spend much time in the rearview mirror. You do, you're gonna crash. So I look out the windshield when I drive, looking forward. Any questions? Any other questions? If not,
Say thank you for what y'all done.
Thank you.
thank you all for what you've all been doing, because when we drive around, I see people with that bag, because I drive by neighbors and I see that plastic bag with the stuff in it. So it's not what we've done. We're privileged to serve. It's what you all have done, you know, while walking the neighborhoods. I've seen the names and who's out doing what neighborhood. So thank you very much. Mr. Quinn?
We get more stuff.
I think we have some tonight available. Are you talking about this one?
She's got a whole box full outside.
Signs? I ran out of signs.
Signs.
Signs on the computer.
The candidates have the signs. Okay, I don't have signs. Come Thursday night. The candidates are coming Thursday night. We all get them all tables. They can set their signs up. 2662 North Bay Place. Okay, if no other questions?
Thank you.
Thank
Okay, I believe Mr. Boucher had a resolution.
Resolution. Be it resolved that any actions taken by the 2018 Victory Campaign Committee Chair Dale Inman and Treasurer Kelly Cook, including but not limited to the formation of a PAC and raising funds on behalf of the Montgomery County Republican Party, are ratified and were authorized by Montgomery County Republican Party Executive Committee on August 7, 2018.
Give me a second. Second. Any discussion? All right, those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, item 12, I'm not really going to talk about it. There was a request at our last CEC by Fred Sunderman, Precinct 88, that we look into insurance for the party in case different members were sued. And we told him that we would look into that, and we put it on the agenda for the next meeting, what we found out. And the short of it is the whole process to go through that would be prohibitively expensive for the party, and, you know, weighing it, you know, we didn't think that the cost would be justified. And so if there's anyone that wants to pitch in a ton of money to purchase insurance, they're free to do so. But unless we have a real generous donor that wants to do that, you know, we decided not to pursue that farther. New business. Is there anything under new business? I know we had a couple resolutions. Mrs. Winter.
Yes, I have 2 resolutions I'd like to submit. I'm submitting these because now our bylaws allow for us to possibly endorse candidates that are in races with one Republican and one other person who is not Republican. And we have 2 races that are on the nonpartisan ballot that fall in that category that affect Montgomery County residents that are able to vote in these. And the first one is, everyone got a copy, I believe, and it's the resolution endorsing Mike Sullivan for Lone Star College Board of Trustees District A. I know the meeting's getting late, but I wanted to know if any of y'all would like to hear from Mike Sullivan for a few minutes. Okay, so I'd like Mike to come up here and give you 2-3 minutes and tell us about.
Yeah, 1 minute. Okay. Everybody, hi. I'm Mike Sullivan, right from Lone Star College, District 8. For those of you that don't know, Lone Star is transitioning from all at-large seats to all district seats. So out of the 9 trustees, there are 3 trustees up for re-election this November. None of them filed for re-election. So there are 2 candidates in each of the 3 races. And out of all 6 candidates, I'm the only Republican. So I've been campaigning hard to let people know that it's a down ballot race. And when elected, not if elected, when elected, I will be the only Republican representing you on Lone Star College Board of Trustees. So it's an important race. It's not very sexy. It pays what I'm used to, which is nothing. And I say that because I formerly served as a member of Humble ISD Board of Trustees, Houston City Council member, and Harris County Tax Assessor Collector. Every vote matters. Y'all all know that. I was swept out in the blue wave in Harris County in 2016. Out of 1.4 million votes, I lost by 7,500 votes. 0.2%. Lesson learned for all Republicans. So your messaging tonight about winning, a unity, and advertising, push cards, mail pieces, signs, events Thursday night, all of that helps, and I'm part of that effort. So I hope you'll support the effort to endorse me, but if not, I'll be back, and I'll still work hard for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. We appreciate you driving up here to come and visit with us.
Yes, sir.
Do we have a motion to endorse Mr. Sullivan?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All right, those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Ms. Julia Storm, you were the first candidate we endorsed.
So our next person that we have a resolution for is Brian Boniface. He serves on the Woodlands Republican Board, and he's running for re-election, and his candidate has voted twice in the Democratic primary in 2016 and 2018, as far back as I look. And I'd like to see if Brian would like to speak. Thank you.
How are y'all doing? I'll keep this brief. I know everyone's getting kind of tired as well. So you got some background on me. I'm an Eagle Scout. I'm a U.S. Army captain in the Army Reserves. I'm a full-time job. I'm a registered nurse. I'm working the OR for Conroe Regional. I was elected in 2016 to Woodlands Township Board of Directors Position 2, which means I should be the second one to be endorsed. But I ran on the promise of keeping taxes low, reducing debt, and studying for incorporation. We had a lot of challenges out in the Woodlands with the county kind of determining our future and other outlets trying to tell us how we should be running our lives. We really believe that the power is in the people. We've been very transparent. I think we've actually set the model for what local government should look like as far as transparency and value and certain principles. We just reduce taxes. How often you hear that these days? We are fighting against the high appraisals, and we just really appreciate your guys' support. So, any questions?
Thank you, Brian.
Yep. What's your name again? Brian. Hey, I'm going to hunt you down for some push cards. I know you're in the Woodlands, right? Yeah, I'm in the Woodlands. All right, perfect. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to endorse Mr. Boniface?
Motion to endorse.
I second
that. Those in favor, or any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. O'Dear, you have a resolution.
I'm hoping most of you already have a copy of this, so we can skip all the whereases, but I do want to speak a little bit about it after I read the resolve. Resolved that the Montgomery County Republican Party supports protecting taxpayers with the Toll Payer Protection Act by requiring voter approval for any new construction for funding of toll roads, by requiring transparent and accurate toll billing with capped administrative fees, by requiring tolls to be removed when the project costs are paid back, by prohibiting tolling on existing lanes, and by prohibiting Proposition 1 and 7 funds from being used to subsidize toll lanes. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be sent to every Montgomery County State Representative and State Senator. A little background behind this. This was written by Texans for Traffic Relief. The main bullet points on this, I'm sure we all agree on. No governmental entity should ever construct or fund construction of toll roads without voter approval. Toll billing, regardless of the entity responsible, must be transparent, accurate, and exorbitant administrative fees must be capped. To avoid perpetual tolling, tolls should come off the road when the project costs are paid back. No tolling on existing lanes should ever be allowed. And the fifth bullet point is Propositions 1 and 7 funds should never be used to subsidize the toll lane. This is going to be a package that Texans for Traffic Relief will be shopping around during the legislative session. The Texas Young Republicans, the Young Conservatives of Texas, the Texas Federation of College Republicans have all passed resolution supporting this. Denton County recently passed a resolution supporting this. And speaking of the resolution, any
Can you explain
Proposition 1 and 7 were on ballots in 2014 and 2015, having to do with the funding of roads. I can't speak entirely of it, but part of the language of those propositions were they cannot be used, these propositions cannot be used for toll roads or improvement of toll roads. Paul?
And when a similar motion was on the ballot last time, how did Republicans vote?
There was 90-something%, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
In the hands of advocates, this is when he ran.
The governor does not make it legislative. This is all going to be legislative process, which every little bullet that we get to help us get there is better.
Just going to get to the legislature.
This is a bill that's going to be, Texas Department of Legal will be lobbying this bill.
Before the 6th?
Sorry?
Before the 6th?
No, this legislative session starts in January, and goes like that.
You're not going to get the bills.
It'll be over before you know.
This needs to be in some of those people's hands.
Yeah, like.
Well, this resolution, if we approve it tonight, a copy of this will be given to all three of our Montgomery County state reps and on both of our state senators.
All right, so you've moved, we have a second? Next resolution? Any more discussion? In favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations. All right, anything else we need to take up under new business, Mr. Pareto?
Just real quick, without objection, I'd like to enter into the minutes the Dickey letter on the length of taking Chairman Dickey to make it a permanent partner of record, as well as the exact language that was voted on at the SREC. Those two specific items be made part of the official minutes.
I object.
There's objection.
What's the purpose of having it as part of the minutes?
So that people don't take my word for it when they go to review the minutes, and there was a discussion about specifically that Robert's rules in this matter were irrelevant. They're not taking my word for it. It's an official copy from the chairman of the state party. And who else objected? Okay.
This is an attempt to relitigate what's already been done. The motion's been, the matter has been decided by the RCC. And it's now to reopen that argument. So I object to being in the minutes.
Anything else? All right. Let's go out there and keep it red. We have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
This is our rolling inside there. County Chairman.